So far, wild boars have been spotted in 28 rural municipalities across Alberta.
Under the cloak of darkness, a city gripped by fear enforces a curfew, its streets patrolled by vigilant police officers. The once familiar neighborhoods now bear the marks of desperation, as locals band together, constructing mile-long fences encircling their besieged haven. But what creepy threat looms beyond these fortifications? Is it a dangerous criminal on the loose, or a dangerous force of human origin? Surprisingly, the threat that necessitated such measures weren't what you'd expect. The menace that haunts their nights is far more sinister. It is no other than wild boars. Their insatiable appetite drives them to rampage through the urban sprawl. But how and why are there so many boars in Europe? Join us as we explore why they don't eat millions of wild boars in Europe. Home to over 400 UNESCO World Heritage Sites, Europe is a continent steeped in a wealth of cultural heritage and adorned with breathtaking landscapes. From ancient ruins that whisper tales of bygone eras to vibrant cities pulsating with modern energy, every corner invites discovery and ignites the imagination. Although it is the second smallest continent in the world, Europe undoubtedly has a thriving economy. In fact, the European Union stands tall as an economic powerhouse, boasting the second largest economy in the world, surpassed only by the United States. This dynamic and influential union of nations has forged a path of prosperity, innovation, and boundless opportunities. With its vast market and a population brimming with diverse talents and expertise, the European Union has become a global force driving economic growth and development. However, there is more to Europe than you may have heard of. For instance, did you know that living in some parts of Europe is synonymous with scenes from zombie movies where infectious creatures roam at night? As the nightlights gradually descend upon the cities, anxiety settles like a thick fog. The haunting sound of police sirens would break the silence as they weave through the streets, enforcing an unwavering curfew. Behind the protective walls of their homes, the locals toil with despair, constructing mile-long fences in a desperate bid for safety. Surprisingly, the threat lies not in the form of a dangerous criminal, but in the invasion of wild boars. These creatures, fierce and voracious, possess an unyielding hunger that matches their aggressive nature. As they prowled the shadows, their infectious presence spread like wildfire. When night descends, the cities transform into a battleground, overrun by a legion of these formidable beasts. Panic ensues, and the people are caught in a twisted game of hide-and-seek. As if these creatures would turn every alleyway into refuge, and every hushed breath a prayer for survival. In the face of this unexpected and relentless adversary, the people are left with no choice but to navigate a perilous path where fear and resilience collide. It is a battle that tests and blurs the line between civilization and the wild. But how did it all begin? Their origins trace back to Southeast Asia, with historical records indicating their spread across the European continent around 5 million years ago. Over time, they became popular prey for many civilizations, cementing their place in the annals of hunting lore. However, as the 20th century unfolded, the intersection of rapid urbanization, forest regeneration, and the inherent adaptability of wild boars set the stage for an unexpected clash between humans and nature. The encroachment of wild boars into urban landscapes and the ensuing struggle for survival has shown the resilience of both species. The story of wild boars in Italy is tied to the intricate web of human influence and ecological dynamics. Human activities, such as deforestation and rapid agricultural development, once pushed the species to the brink of extinction on the Italian peninsula. Only a few isolated populations managed to survive in Tuscany, southern Italy, and the Alps. However, following World War II, Italy experienced a gradual economic boom accompanied by population urbanization. As a result, forests began to regenerate, providing a favorable environment for the return of wild animals. In the absence of their primary predators, the gray wolves, the wild boars found ample resources and thrived. Their ability to adapt to a wide variety of food sources contributed to a significant increase in their population. The expansion of wild boar populations brings about a new set of challenges, particularly in urban areas. As these creatures venture into cities, they become troublesome due to their larger size and complex behavior. Their presence in urban areas poses genuine problems, not limited to Europe alone. Cities like Barcelona, Berlin, Houston, and Hong Kong have witnessed groups of wild boars wandering the streets at different times of the day. The clashes between humans and wild boars are expected to become increasingly frequent as their populations grow. In urban settings, they can cause significant disruptions and pose risks to public safety. Dealing with the presence of wild boars in cities requires careful management strategies to ensure the safety of both humans and the animals themselves. What is responsible for wild boars' increasing population? Talking about the increasing population of wild boars, there are four pivotal factors that are responsible: the rapid urbanization of cities, the regrowth of forests, the absence of the gray wolf, their main predator, and high reproduction rates. When a species possesses a high reproductive rate, an extraordinary phenomenon unfolds, which is a relentless expansion across vast territories driven by the surge in population. The secret lies in the inherent connection between reproduction, resources, and the insatiable quest for survival. Imagine a species with an exceptional ability to reproduce rapidly, bringing forth new generations at an astonishing pace. As their numbers multiply, so does their demand for resources, which includes food, water, shelter, and space. The larger the population, the more pressing the need to secure these vital necessities becomes. In the quest for survival, the species embarks on a remarkable journey. It ventures beyond familiar confines, spreading its influence across extensive landscapes. The drive to acquire resources propels it to explore uncharted territories, adapting to diverse environments and overcoming obstacles along the way. As the species expands its reach, it unleashes an intricate dance with nature. It navigates across varied ecosystems, conquering forests, grasslands, and even urban landscapes. The relentless pursuit of resources fuels its migration, shaping the very fabric of the territories it encounters. This extraordinary phenomenon echoes throughout the animal kingdom, where species with high reproductive rates lay claim to new realms. Through their sheer numbers and unwavering determination, they reshape the boundaries of their existence, forever altering the delicate balance of nature. Now let's examine bear population. As cities expanded, so did the comfortable breeding grounds for wild boars. Across Europe, these creatures thrived, leading to an increasing number of encounters in major cities such as Berlin, Madrid, and Warsaw. Italy alone now plays host to approximately 2.3 million wild boars, wreaking havoc and leaving destruction in their wake. The consequences of this wild boar population explosion are unsettling. They cause mayhem by damaging crops and triggering thousands of car accidents each year. Without a doubt, Italy finds itself in the grip of a captivating and perilous stance against the wild boar. The roads of Italy, once a symbol of connectivity and progress, have become a battleground where man and beast collide. With an average of 10,000 road accidents attributed to their presence each year, the wild boars leave no doubt about their impact. They traverse the pathways, driven by an insatiable quest for survival, their paths intersecting with unsuspecting motorists in a dangerous tango of fate. But the wild boar's audacity doesn't stop there. In a bewildering twist, they've ventured into the heart of urban areas. Here, among the bustling streets and towering buildings, they seek comfort and sustenance, rummaging through rubbish bins for whatever they can find. Startled onlookers have witnessed several audacious acts, as the line between the untamed wild boars and the civilized humans blurs before their eyes. Yet there is a darker side to this unfolding tale. The wild boar, driven by primal instincts, occasionally crosses paths with humans, and the aftermath is not always pleasant. Reports of injuries and even death at the hands of these formidable creatures send shivers down our spines. reminding us of nature's untamed power and our delicate place within it. As Italy grapples with the mystique and resilience of wild boars, our notions of control and coexistence are challenged. Talking about agricultural losses in Italy, the wild boar is an indomitable creature whose appetite and presence have become synonymous with devastation. The wild boar emerges as the primary culprit behind the agricultural calamity that plagues Italy. A staggering 90% of the losses inflicted by ungulates, the grazing mammals, can be attributed to wild boars. With an insatiable hunger and an uncanny ability to detect and access valuable crops, the wild boar leaves a path of destruction in its wake. The toll inflicted upon Italy's agricultural sector is as staggering as it is disheartening. Year after year, the relentless foraging and trampling of the wild boars results in losses amounting to millions of dollars. To be more precise, agricultural damages attributed to wild boars amount to a staggering $22 million annually, and damages worth over 120 million euros have been recorded over the last 7 years. These voracious creatures possess an insatiable appetite, devouring anything that crosses their path, even resorting to cannibalism when desperate. Whether it be semi-arid plains, alpine forests, or marshy grasslands, wild boars conquer and flourish in almost any habitat as long as food is plentiful. According to the International Union for Conservation of Nature, their exceptional adaptability allows them to thrive in almost any reasonable environment, earning them the notorious title of one of the most invasive species. The financial burden weighs heavily on farmers who witness their hard work and livelihoods torn asunder by the voracious appetites of these formidable creatures. Farmers strive to protect their crops, employing a myriad of tactics to deter and safeguard their harvest from the relentless onslaught of the wild boars. Fences, deterrents, and other innovative measures are vital in this ongoing struggle to mitigate losses and safeguard livelihoods. The impact of the wild boars extends far beyond the financial realm. It reverberates throughout the fabric of rural communities as the resilience and determination of farmers are tested. Let's take a moment to talk about boars taking over cities. The urban takeover by wild boars in various cities can be attributed to a combination of factors, with uncollected garbage and intentional feeding by people being significant contributors. A study revealed that wild boars now inhabit 105 cities in Italy, a stark increase from just 2 cities a decade ago. This phenomenon is not unique to Italy and is occurring in other places as well. One of the notable reasons for the comfort of wild boars in urban areas is their loss of fear toward humans. This fearlessness leads to chaotic situations. For instance, in Barcelona in 2016, the police received 1,187 calls from people reporting trouble caused by wild boar. These creatures were involved in various disruptive activities such as damaging lawns, rummaging through garbage, confronting dogs, stealing cat food, creating traffic disturbances, and even colliding with cars. Efforts to address the problem are most intense in countries like Italy and Spain, as they face a significant number of boar-related issues. However, it's important to note that the issue extends to many other countries as well. In Scotland, for example, there have been reports of wild boars being blamed for killing sheep on local farms, although such behavior is uncommon for wild boars. The Scottish Gamekeepers Association raised concerns about wild boars attacking and consuming livestock, and there have been occasional incidents of boars intentionally targeting sheep. There are differing perspectives when it comes to the behavior of wild boars and their interactions with livestock. Environmentalists argue that while wild boars may scavenge dead sheep, actively hunting and killing them is rare. They also point out that if such instances were common, there would likely be more documented evidence in the form of captured videos. While there may be occasional exceptions, the general consensus among experts is that wild boars primarily include plant-based food sources in their diet and do not actively hunt and kill large animals like sheep. It is true that wild boars can pose risks to humans and animals, particularly if they feel threatened or cornered. Their powerful physical capabilities, including sharp tusks, make them potentially dangerous animals. The increasing population of wild boars in Scotland and other affected areas leads to significant disruptions. Fields get trampled, and livestock can get killed, impacting agricultural activities and the livelihoods of farmers. While efforts are being made to address the wild boar issue, it remains a complex and multifaceted challenge that requires careful management strategies and collaboration between various stakeholders. Finding a balance between urban development, waste management, and wildlife conservation is crucial to mitigate the conflicts arising from the urban presence of wild boars and ensure the safety and well-being of both humans and wildlife. But why can't we eat them, despite their increasing population? The notion of consuming wild boars to manage their population seems like a natural consideration. After all, our ancestors have been doing so successfully for centuries. However, there's a crucial catch to this. The wild boars of today are not like their predecessors. They carry an unsettling secret that has recently come to light. A group of inquisitive scientists turned their attention to the meat of wild boars from southern Germany, and their discoveries would alter the culinary world. It was revealed that this seemingly ordinary meat indeed harbored traces of radioactivity. But here's the twist. While many people may be quick to blame the Chernobyl disaster of 1986 for the radioactivity, it isn't the only event responsible for the strange phenomenon. The catastrophe at the Chernobyl power plant unleashed a massive amount of radiation into the surrounding air, contaminating nearby woodlands, farmlands, and all living creatures, from livestock to humans. The radioactive fallout traveled as far as France, leaving a lasting impact. Even though wild boars are not farm animals, they too felt the effects of the Chernobyl radiation. However, there are two crucial points that need to be highlighted. Firstly, radiation levels across Europe in general have decreased since the explosion at Chernobyl. Yet, wild boars in southern Germany continue to bear the burden of elevated radiation levels. Secondly, scientists have come to a startling realization. Chernobyl alone cannot be blamed for this predicament. Nuclear weapons testing also shares the responsibility. In Germany, 88% of the 48 wild boar meat samples tested showed heightened levels of radioactivity. Similarly, all the samples tested in Japan exhibited increased levels. When examining samples with elevated levels of contamination, researchers have conducted calculations to determine the sources of such pollution. Their findings indicated that nuclear weapons testing conducted during the mid-20th century contributed to the contamination to varying degrees, ranging from 10% to 68%. This suggests that the fallout from nuclear weapons testing has had a significant impact on the observed contamination levels. While the sample size is not comprehensive, the results are undoubtedly concerning. It is unlikely that a particular animal species possesses a unique ability to absorb radiation. So what makes wild boars susceptible? The answer lies in their affinity for truffles. Boars are the only animals known to have an insatiable love for these underground fungi. Truffles act as a hidden repository, storing radioactive particles. As boars consume truffles, the radiation finds its way into their bodies, leading scientists to stumble upon this alarmingly radioactive meat. While wild boar consumption has been a historical practice, the current scenario demands caution. The meat of wild boars from regions with heightened radioactivity should be approached with care to avoid potential health risks associated with radiation exposure. The interplay between wild boars, truffles, and radioactivity presents a complex and intriguing tale, reminding us of the delicate balance between tradition and unforeseen consequences. Indeed, the behavior of wild boars and their interaction with their environment can lead to intriguing and sometimes unsettling phenomena. One such curiosity is the observation that boars are more radioactive in winter compared to summer. The reason behind this lies in the limited availability of food during winter, which drives boars to consume truffles more frequently. As a result, their intake of radioactive particles stored in truffles increases, leading to higher levels of radioactivity in their bodies. When it comes to attributing the increased animal radioactivity to a specific country or test, it becomes a complex task. After an explosion, a significant upward draft carries the radioactive material into the upper atmosphere. By the time the fallout settles back to the ground, the radioactive particles become evenly distributed, making it virtually impossible to pinpoint the exact source. While the responsibility for the existence of radioactive boars cannot be solely attributed to a single country, it is reasonable to acknowledge that humans, through nuclear weapons testing and other activities, have played a role in this phenomenon. The peculiarities surrounding wild boars don't end there. In 2015, a series of disturbing images surfaced on Reddit, showcasing a wild boar carcass with an unusual feature. Its fat had a vivid shade of bright blue instead of the typical white. This discovery caused public concern, and the blue fat was subjected to laboratory analysis. However, despite the efforts of experts, the exact reason behind the unusual color could not be determined definitively. The leading hypothesis suggests that the blue dye commonly found in rat bait, which is added to deter other animals from consuming the poisoned meat, might be the cause. While the dose of poison is not lethal to boars, it does affect their internal organs. In the realm of wild boars, it seems that surprises and anomalies abound. These examples serve as reminders of the intricate connections between wildlife and human activities, and the consequences that can arise from such interactions. Now it's time for our subscribers' pick, as we talk about why they don't eat millions of wild boars in Europe. In the vast expanse of Europe, a remarkable mystery revolves around the untapped potential of millions of wild boars. These majestic creatures roam freely, their presence felt in forests and fields across the continent. Yet despite their abundance, they remain largely untouched. Imagine the rising number of accidents and deaths experienced throughout many countries as a result of boar invasion. Should they be left alone to continue to wreak havoc? These wild boars in their millions have sparked a lot of debate and controversies, and this question lingers in the minds of curious observers. Why are these wild boars not embraced as a culinary delight? In the end, the question of why millions of wild boars are not consumed as food in Europe is a reflection of human tradition, economics, environmental considerations, and safety. But what do you think? Would you have wild boar meat if you had the chance? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section. Can hunting wild boars help? Now let's delve into the fascinating world of wild boar management. Hunting has long been the traditional and reliable method employed. However, when it comes to boar hunting, it presents quite a challenge. Despite appearing simpler compared to pursuing other games, wild boars possess an uncanny sense of smell that makes them elusive and difficult to track. Moreover, their aggressive nature adds an element of risk to the hunt. As if that weren't enough, the conventional European hunting approach exacerbates the problem. Many hunters seek out large males as prize trophies, but this practice inadvertently disrupts the boar family nucleus. The demise of a dominant male scatters young females throughout the territory, triggering their reproductive cycles prematurely. Thus, the population multiplies even faster, creating a frustrating cycle. One of the reasons people hunt wild boars is the exceptional taste of boar meat. Renowned for its unique flavor, boar meat has been regarded as a culinary delicacy in various European countries for generations. The allure of savoring this delectable meat adds further incentive to tackle the challenges posed by this invasive species. Intriguingly, boars possess an unexpected blend of intelligence, survival instincts, and culinary delight. These creatures, once considered mundane, reveal astonishing traits and behaviors that captivate our imagination and challenge our preconceived notions. Supposing they are not exposed to radiation, European nations would probably resort to eating boar meat as an effective method to combat wild boar populations. The clash between Rome residents and the Boars has reached unprecedented levels. Picnics have been banned, and garbage bins are fenced off in many parts of northern Rome. Authorities are grappling with the challenge of controlling the wild boar population, not only because these creatures wreak havoc and devour everything in sight, but also due to the discovery of African swine fever in one deceased boar. Feeding or approaching the animals is strictly forbidden, and individuals walking on farmland or reserves in affected areas are required to disinfect their shoes urgently. These measures were implemented following a curfew imposed to combat the invasion of wild boars. From attacking residents at night to now carrying a disease, the situation has escalated rapidly. While the African swine fever does not pose a threat to humans, the presence of infected wild animals roaming the city demands immediate action. When the situation escalated in Denmark, they announced plans to construct a 44-mile-long fence along its border with Germany. The purpose? To keep out wild boars. To protect its pig population and prevent the spread of the disease, Denmark took this extraordinary step, emphasizing the severity of the threat posed by wild boars. In the battle against wild boars, we witness a convergence of challenges ranging from public safety and disease control to environmental impact and international borders. These creatures, once considered part of the natural landscape, have become a force demanding innovative solutions and concerted efforts to mitigate their effects. The clash between humans and boars unfolds on various fronts, highlighting the complex dynamics that emerge when human interests intersect with the resilience and adaptability of other residents of the planet. Despite there being no reported cases of African swine fever in Denmark, the potential transmission of the disease from wild boars to domestic pigs poses a significant threat to the local pig industry. With no available vaccine to combat the disease, the only viable option remains the implementation of fences to prevent contact between wild and domesticated animals. This preventive measure becomes crucial in safeguarding the integrity of the pig industry and preventing a potential outbreak. The clash between wild boars and society took a dramatic turn on June 2, 2023, when an unexpected visitor emerged on a beach along the Costa Blanca in Spain. A wild boar made its presence known, causing injuries to 2 individuals. The situation escalated to the point where authorities had to evacuate a section of the beach to ensure the safety of beachgoers. The boar showed relentless aggression towards a policeman and an employee of the Animal Protection Agency. For 2 hours, specialists attempted to capture the boar, but wrangling an aggressive 220-pound beast proved exceedingly challenging. Eventually, more forceful measures had to be taken to subdue the animal. The circumstances that led to the boar's appearance on the beach remain somewhat enigmatic. It is speculated that the boar tumbled down a cliff into the Seco River, setting off a chain of chaotic events along the beach. In essence, this seemingly average wild boar exhibited behavior that mirrored the typical traits of its species, yet its unexpected presence in a popular coastal setting left a trail of disruption and apprehension in its wake. The encounter between humans and wild boars serves as a reminder of the fragile boundary that separates our civilized world from the untamed wilderness. Even seemingly ordinary creatures can unleash unforeseen challenges and provoke unexpected skirmishes, underscoring the need for vigilance and innovative strategies to navigate the complex relationship between humans and wildlife. Wild boar population control. When it comes to control, trapping is considered one of the most effective methods for controlling wild boar populations. Large, specialized traps can be used to capture multiple boars at once, allowing for population reduction in targeted areas. Trapping is often preferred over recreational hunting as it can lead to more significant population reductions. Some people have even turned to large, specialized traps, which have proven successful in the United States and are gaining popularity worldwide. These traps have the remarkable capability to ensnare entire boar families simultaneously. Once captured, the animals are gently sedated before being sold and savored as food. This approach has emerged as the most promising solution to the wild boar problem thus far. Also, shooting is another way to control the boar population. It can be effective when conducted by trained professionals and implemented as part of a comprehensive management strategy. However, shooting alone may not be sufficient for long-term population control, as wild boars are highly reproductive animals. In addition to shooting, other exclusion methods such as electric fencing or deterrence can be employed to discourage wild boar access to certain areas. These methods aim to modify boar behavior and prevent them from causing damage or entering specific locations. Another way is the application of toxicants. The use of toxicants, such as poisons or chemical agents, is a controversial method and often not recommended due to ethical and environmental concerns. The use of toxicants for wild boar control is highly regulated and requires careful consideration of potential risks and impacts. Finally, feed contraception involves providing boars with contraceptives through baited feeding stations. This method aims to reduce reproduction rates and population growth. However, it requires regular monitoring and administration to be effective. While recreational hunting can be an enjoyable activity, it is generally not considered an effective method for controlling wild boar populations on its own. This is due to various factors, including the high reproductive capacity of wild boars and the need for more targeted and coordinated population management efforts. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.